When talking about evil in our world, theologians make a distinction between natural evil and moral evil. Moral evil refers to the sinful actions of human beings like deceit, murder, theft, and so on. Natural evil are natural disasters in our world like tornadoes, floods, earthquakes, and fires. As human beings, we struggle with the question why God allows natural evil to happen. Whenever someone's diagnosed with cancer or we witness a tragedy, we struggle with that question why. Why does God allow these things to happen? At least part of the answer to that question is found in studying the first few chapters of the Bible. For an example, let's take how God formed man. God formed man from the ground. In Hebrew, the word for ground is Adamah. And so what does God call man? He calls him Adam, because he was taken from the ground. So we see even in his name that part of who Adam is this deep connection with the ground. And if we broaden that scope and the meaning for ground into the whole world or the whole earth, there's this deep connection between the earth and Adam. Now let's take Eve. The Bible describes her as being a suitable helper or companion for Adam. Now in the original Hebrew it says that she will be called Isha because she was taken from Ish. She will be called woman because she was taken from man. Part of who Eve was this deep connection with Adam. See, Adam was taken from the ground and there's this deep connection there. In the same way, Eve was taken from Adam and there's that deep connection between them. Like Adam, Eve's name is also important. Eve translated into the original Hebrew is the word Heva, and that word is closely related to the word life. Furthermore, we're told that Eve is the mother to all of the living. As the Bible describes humans fall into sin, we're told that the serpent tempted them into eating the fruit, telling them to disobey God, saying that you will be like God by eating the fruit. Now when they sinned, their hearts swelled with pride, guilt, and shame. When pride enters our hearts, it tells us that we can make it on our own, that we don't need God, that I can do things myself. So what pride naturally does, it causes us to separate from God because it makes us think that we don't need Him. The next thing that the sin of eating the fruit did was open our hearts to guilt. When you've wronged someone and you feel that guilt in your heart, you naturally want to run away from them. So not only does pride separate us from God, but also our guilt. And the third thing that sin does, it causes shame. Now when people feel shame, what they do is they hide. They either try to hide the fact of what they've done, or they hide themselves from people who know. Again, we see another separation from God by hiding from Him. So when Adam sinned, pride, guilt, and shame entered into their hearts, accumulating into a huge separation from God, to where pride says, I don't need God. Guilt causes us to run from God, and shame causes us to hide from Him. Again, separating us from God. But see, God is a loving God, and He wasn't content with letting humans swell up with pride, or run in guilt, or hide in shame. He wasn't going to let humans cut themselves off from the source of life, which is Him. So immediately, God introduces a curse, frustrations in their life that strike them to the core, and it makes life difficult trying to live life by our own strength without God. He said for Adam, I am going to curse the ground, thorns and thistles, and by the sweat of your brow you're going to eat your food. And eventually you're going to return from the ground because you were taken from it. See, before there was a pleasant relationship between the ground and man, between Adamah and Adam. Now when God introduced that curse, it placed frustration and difficulty at the core of who Adam is. And for ladies, you get childbirth. Now that pain in childbirth is a new frustration between her and her husband. Now this list of difficulties and frustrations isn't an exhaustive list, but more of a representative list for all natural evils. These natural disasters that occur in our world are meant to awaken us to a harsh reality, that the world we live in now is infected with sin, and that we need a Savior. See, these natural evils in life are meant to drive us back to God. See, we're not independent creatures. We are totally and fully dependent on God. So to combat our pride and guilt and shame, we need to be overwhelmed. The truth is, we can't live life separated from the source of life. Now if you think about it, this seems to be the effect of natural evils. That when earthquakes happen, or when floods drown, or when winds destroy, and we're feeling overwhelmed and overburdened, and come to that realization that we can't do it on our own, it's in those moments where we find ourselves crying out to God. I want to thank you for watching this video. I encourage you to pass it along, email it, share it with people on Facebook or on Twitter or wherever. There are also other videos that you can check out at www.sunchurch.tv. There you could also check out sermons that are preached here at Sunlight Community Church. If you have any questions or comments that you would like to share with us, please email us at sunchurchtv@gmail.com. Thanks again for watching our videos, and stay tuned.